What's up, GQ? I'm Chris Hemsworth. Today I'm going undercover on the internet. It's actually me. Reddit. This is from R Comic Books. Chris Hemsworth feels next Thor film may be his last. You have this birth of a hero, the journey of a hero, then the death of a hero. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever do another Thor film. Where would you go? I feel like I've been lucky enough to play different versions of the character each time. And if I was to do it again, I'd love to drastically change it and do something that was very unexpected. YouTube. Akira the Chipori. What does Chris plan to do while taking a break from acting? Any new hobbies? And the headline is Chris Hemsworth talks life-changing revelation. I didn't have a life-changing revelation. I mean, I found out that I had a genetic predisposition for being in a high-risk category for Alzheimer's, which is way, way down the track. It was just an indication for me to take certain steps and live a healthy life and give myself the best chance, like most of us. And yet the headlines got kind of mashed up there, and I was taking time off at the same time that interview happened, so it sounded like I was taking time off because of that, which wasn't the case. I've just been hanging at home with my family, surfing, enjoying a bit of downtime and reading a bunch of scripts at the moment, trying to find that next thing to get back into. Post it. Erica Fernlund. Hang on. So a text chain only for Avengers. You're not leaving Tom Loki out, are you? Yeah, because he's not an Avenger. But I text Tom on the side. We have, good friendship. But, yeah, Avengers text chain. Yeah, he's not... Sorry, Tom. Oh, who's the funniest Avenger on the text chain? I'd say Don Cheadle's hilarious. Downey, you can't get past his kind of wit and sense of humour. Renner is just a cheeky bastard. Scarlett has a wicked sense of humour. Mark Ruffalo is hilarious even when he's not trying to be hilarious. Chris Evans, just another Chris, really. And there's nothing really to say about that. I love Chris Evans. I mean, they're all pretty funny. Netflix sent the Icarodi Boys cameras after that viral video, but never thought they'd be this good. Can you confirm? They did send them cameras. Those kids are amazing. They did the most impressive trailer I've ever seen. We should not have just sent them cameras. We should have got them to direct the film. Oh, maybe the third one. We should invite them to the premiere. They should definitely be coming. Netflix. Instagram. Chris, why don't you invite Ben surfing so he doesn't have to take his shirt off? So Ben Affleck on Chris. I'd love to come. I'm hoping one day Chris will invite me to come down and stay at his place, as long as I don't have to take any shirtless pictures next to him. Well, he can come surfing. Ben, come surfing and keep your shirt on. Keep it all on. Let's keep it above board, and we'll put a wetsuit on you, buddy. Don't worry. Now, on to Quora. How would you rank the Thor movies from dope to the dopest? Oh, this is tricky. Ragnarok, I think, was my favourite experience. And Thor 1, because it was the first time I ever played the character, and it was the launch of the whole Marvel experience and kind of my career. So I hold them both in very high regard. And I love the other two. The other two were fantastic as well. And then the Avengers movies, which have all been remarkable and insane. And I don't think any of us knew what it was going to become. I think each of us were making our solo films, not sure if we were ever going to make another solo film or even be a part of the Avengers. And then when that all came together, I remember being in Rome on the press tour for Avengers 1 and realising, I think this is going to work and I think people are going to love it. And I think Scarlett was there, Mark Ruffalo, Chris Evans, Tom Hiddleston was there, and we were all up late one night having a drink, talking about it with Kevin Feige and a number of the other producers, and kind of pinching ourselves, going, this is incredibly special and kind of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. TikTok. No Name says they weren't twins. Not twins, no. So no, we're about 6-7 years apart. The first time I ever really was recognised when I came out of the Star Trek premiere and someone ran straight up to Liam and said, I love you in that movie. That was so cool. Can I get a photo? And he looked over at me and he was about to say, I wasn't in the movie. And he went, yeah, absolutely. I'll take the photo. And stole my moment. I've been recovering from that ever since. Anyone know what he is doing to achieve a stress-proof life? What are the rules I must always follow to be stress-free? I'll give you some tips. I am certainly not an expert. I'd say healthy habits, healthy choices, exercise, movement, mindfulness, nutrition, sleep, surround yourself with wonderful people, stay positive, have goals. I find the more I can surround myself or put myself in situations where I'm immersed in something that I truly love and I'm passionate about, that keeps me pretty stress-free. Dawn Hoff. Wait, what? Was that never his real hair? Dreams crushed? In some of the films, it was my real hair. Thor 2 was my real hair. Thor 1 was a wig. Thor 3 was a wig and then they cut my hair. Mostly it's wigs though, sorry. Twitter. Lord, Laurie, and the February Hush. I really fucking hope the Chris Hemsworth Hulk Hogan movie is still getting made. I've spoken to Todd Phillips about it a few times, about making it, and we've both had pretty wild schedules. There is a film there and a story which could be really exciting and fun, which we're both, I think, pretty enthusiastic about. But who knows? It is still in the sort of ether of possibilities. For me, it's less about what roles I want to play and more about who I want to work with. I just finished shooting the new Mad Max film. It's a prequel to Fury Road with George Miller, and working with someone as talented as George Miller and someone who has that much experience and knowledge and fascination with the process and story and characters, that for me reinvigorated my enthusiasm, and now I just want to work with the best filmmakers possible. All right, the showstopper says, you have been kidnapped and you can only call one person to save you. Who are you calling, Chris Hemsworth or Gerard Butler? Who would you choose? I have no choice but to call Gerard Butler, because I'd be on the same end of that phone call and I'd still be kidnapped. So, help, Gerard, help. They all said Gerard Butler. Well, you're all going to die. You know, well done. You should have chosen Chris Hemsworth. How about neither of us? How about you call a real action hero, because both of us, we just pretend. Wikipedia. He has said, my earliest memories were on the cattle stations up in the outback. Then we moved back to Melbourne. Certainly most of my childhood was in Melbourne, but probably my most vivid memories were up there in Bullman. My auntie and uncle ran cattle stations in the Northern Territory, and my parents took us up there. We lived with them for a while. Then we moved to an Indigenous community in the outback, and they were the most, as I said, they're vivid memories I have. I kind of had a different idea of what I wanted to do when I finished school or when I grew up. Every week I think, I wanted to do this, and I want to be a sports player, I want to be a cop or a lawyer or a doctor. And then I realised it's probably seeing all these different characters and experiences on film or in books and wanting to sort of live out different experiences in a very vivid manner. And then when I was finishing high school, I did a film and television course, an acting course, and fell in love with it and realised, I could pretend to be all these characters if I was an actor, and I could inhabit all these other worlds and basically just continue to play dress-ups and be a big kid forever. And that's what it is for me. That's what acting's about. Tapping into the younger, innocent, creative, explorative version of yourself. And that's what I'm so thankful for, is just the constant creative journey and experience I get to have. Well, that is it. That's my undercover experience finished. Thank you, GQ. I love you.